After the raid, Jake realizes Lyria's presence may be more than temporary. She shares a small personal secret, hinting at her past and why she rents herself out. Emotional tension rises as she shows kindness, humor, and subtle affection. With a cliffhanger, Jake is falling for her, but she announces that her time with him is over. Tomorrow she leaves. Welcome to my channel Sci-Fi Love Story. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Jake sat alone in his small apartment, the neon lights of the city outside casting long, flickering shadows across the room. The hum of air conditioners and distant hover cars made the night feel almost alive, but inside, Jake felt emptier than ever. The loneliness had grown over the years. Friends came and went, relationships fizzled, and in a city of millions, he had never truly belonged. Tonight, though, something felt different. His fingers hovered over the tablet, scrolling through a strange digital service he had only heard about in whispers. Rent a companion, it said, for one night only. Satisfaction guaranteed. Jake hesitated. He had never done anything like this before. Was it ethical, safe, fun, or maybe a little dangerous? He didn't know, but the loneliness gnawed at him. With a nervous breath, he pressed the button. The doorbell rang exactly 20 minutes later. Jake's heart thumped as he opened the door to see her. Lyria. She stepped into the room with grace that seemed almost unreal. Her skin glimmered faintly under the apartment lights, a soft silver that caught the colors of the neon outside. Her hair flowed like liquid midnight, and her eyes, large and almond-shaped, were a color he had never seen before, shifting between green and gold. She wore a simple yet elegant outfit, designed to flatter her unique form while still maintaining an air of sophistication. Jake's words froze in his throat. Hello. Lyria smiled, a small, knowing smile. Hello, Jake, she said in a voice soft and melodic, yet commanding. I am here for one night, as agreed. Her words should have made him feel relief, but instead, a strange tension filled the room. She was more than he had expected, and somehow, he felt that she knew more about him than he had shared. Dinner was awkward at first. Jake fumbled with the utensils, his nervous energy making him spill a drop of water onto the table. Lyria simply raised an eyebrow and lightly touched his hand. Relax, she said. Her voice had a comforting warmth that made his chest tighten. You do this often? Jake asked, trying to fill the silence. I am often rented for companionship, she replied, her gaze steady. But I am not ordinary. Jake paused, curious. Not ordinary? Lyria's smile deepened. No human would Yuli understand. He swallowed hard, unsure if that was a warning or an invitation. Suddenly, the room trembled with a distant boom. Red alarms flashed across his apartment walls. What the hell? Jake shouted, rushing to the window. Outside, chaos spread across the city. Ships, sleek, black, alien ships, descended from the sky, firing beams of light that exploded against buildings. People screamed, running in panic, while the emergency sirens blared. Jake's mind raced. What is happening? Lyria didn't hesitate. She walked to the center of the room and placed a hand on his shoulder. Stay behind me, she instructed, her eyes scanning the streets below. These attackers are not here for random destruction. They are looking for something, or someone. Jake's fear was replaced by awe. She moved with purpose, pulling small devices from her belt and analyzing the situation. Her technology was unlike anything he had ever seen. A holographic map projected in the air, showing the positions of the attackers. They are closing in, she said calmly. We have very little time. The first beam of energy struck the building. Jake stumbled, fear gripping him. We're going to die, he yelled. Lyria grabbed his arm firmly. No, she said sharply. We are not going to die. She activated a small device, and a protective energy shield enveloped them, deflecting the attack. Jake's jaw dropped. You're amazing. Lyria smirked, a glint of amusement in her alien eyes. You should never underestimate a woman you rent for one night. Despite the danger outside, Jake felt a strange warmth. Here was someone who was not just beautiful, but capable of saving him in ways he had never imagined. He realized, with a mixture of fear and fascination, that the night had become far more than he expected. After the raid, the city gradually quieted. Smoke rose from several damaged buildings and distant sirens still wailed. Jake and Lyria stepped onto his balcony to survey the aftermath. You handled that very well, Jake said. Lyria's expression softened. I have handled worse, she said. But even I must admit, tonight was interesting. Jake laughed nervously. Interesting? That's one word for it. She tilted her head, her eyes meeting his. Tell me, Jake, why did you choose me? He hesitated, unsure how to answer. I don't know. I was lonely. I wanted company. Maybe someone different. Lyria's lips curved into a small smile. Loneliness is a human weakness. But it also shows bravery. You took a chance. Jake felt his heart thump in his chest. There was something about her presence that made everything else fade. He didn't just admire her beauty anymore. He wanted to understand her. To know her. To be near her. Later, they returned to the apartment. Lyria sat AC. Ross from him, her legs crossed elegantly, watching him with curiosity. I have been rented before, she said softly. But you are different. Most humans see me as a service. You look at me differently. You seem interested in more than appearances. Jake felt a rush of warmth. I am, he admitted. I don't know why, but there's something about you. Something real. Lyria leaned closer. Real? For one night, what is real? Jake looked down, unsure what to say. The tension was thick, almost unbearable. He wanted her to stay longer than one night, but he knew he had no right to ask. The night grew quiet. The city lights shimmered like stars beneath the alien sky. Jake and Lyria sat in silence, each lost in their own thoughts. Then, without warning, she touched his hand lightly. Jake, she whispered, I am meant to leave tomorrow. But, tonight, I will stay a little longer. Only because. Her voice trailed off, but the meaning was clear. Jake's heart leapt. Because, she said finally, her eyes glimmering with emotion he couldn't fully understand, I find your company unusual. Refreshing. Interesting. It wasn't much, but it was enough. Enough to make his chest feel like it might burst. The night went on. They talked about strange things, her home world, her abilities, the cultures she had experienced. Jake listened, captivated. She spoke of distant galaxies, of creatures humans could only dream of, and of adventures he could barely imagine. And yet, despite all the mysteries, there were moments of laughter, moments of connection that felt painfully real. Jake realized that he wasn't just fascinated by her alien beauty. He was drawn to her mind, her spirit, her courage. But as the hours passed, a shadow of worry crept over him. Tomorrow, she would leave. And he didn't know if he could bear the thought. Finally, Lyria stood, moving toward the door. It is late, she said. I must rest. Tomorrow, I will leave as promised. Jake felt a pang of desperation. Lyria, wait. I don't want this night to be over. I don't want you to go. She paused, her hand on the door handle. She looked back at him, her expression unreadable. Jake, tonight was meant to be one night. But, perhaps there are choices to be made. Her words sent a shiver down his spine. He didn't know what she meant. Did she want to stay? Was this still part of the agreement? Or was something more dangerous unfolding? She closed the door softly, leaving Jake standing alone, the weight of the night pressing heavily on him. He sank into his chair, staring at the door, knowing that tomorrow would bring an answer, and that answer could change everything. The morning sun barely touched the city skyline when Jake awoke, his mind still buzzing with the events of the previous night. He expected the apartment to feel empty, silent, lifeless, but it wasn't. Lyria was there, sitting on the edge of his bed, looking at him with those shifting green and gold eyes. Good morning, Jake, she said softly, a small smile playing on her lips. Jake's heart skipped a beat. You didn't leave. His voice cracked with surprise. I thought you had to go. I made a choice, Lyria replied simply. I don't have to leave. Not unless I want to. Jake felt a strange mix of relief and fear. Relief because she was still here, but fear because he didn't know what staying truly meant. Why are you staying? He asked cautiously. Because, she said, her gaze steady, I want to. Not because of duty, not because of rules, not because anyone told me to. I choose this. The words sent a warmth through him, but also a warning bell in the back of his mind. Alien life was rarely simple. And Lyria, as beautiful, intelligent, and captivating as she was also a mystery he didn't fully understand. The next few hours were calm, almost serene. Lyria explored the apartment, touching the books on his shelves, examining his gadgets, and even helping him organize his tools for his work as a mechanic. She asked questions about Earth, humans, and Jake's life, and he found himself opening up in ways he hadn't with anyone before. You are very different from other humans I have met, Lyria said at one point, looking at him thoughtfully. Jake shrugged, feeling a little embarrassed. I guess, we're all different. I just never thought someone like you would see me for more than what I appear to be. Her smile was soft, almost tender. I see more than appearances. I see choices, courage, curiosity. You have these qualities, Jake. You are interesting. Her words made his chest tighten. He wanted to tell her he felt the same, that he wanted more than just one night, but before he could, the apartment trembled with a familiar alarm. Jake's stomach dropped. He had hoped the previous night's chaos was over. But Lyria remained calm. Prepare yourself, she said, activating a small device on her wrist. They have found me. Jake's heart thumped in terror. Who? Those who control my assignments, she replied. They believe I should not have left. They will demand my return, and they are not forgiving. Within minutes, the apartment door shook violently. A deep, mechanical voice boomed from outside. Return the alien operative immediately. Resistance will be met with force. Jake stumbled backward. They're here for you? Lyria nodded, her expression steely. Yes, but I will not go without a fight. The door burst open, and a squad of alien enforcers entered, their metallic armor glinting under the morning light. They moved with precision and authority, iron weapons raised. Jake's mind raced. He was terrified, but he also felt something else, a fierce determination. He wasn't going to let these strangers take Lyria away, not without trying. Jake, Lyria said calmly, placing a hand on his shoulder. Stay close. Watch and learn. This may be your first test. The enforcers advanced. Lyria's small device projected a force field around them, and energy beams bounced harmlessly off it. She moved with fluid, breathtaking precision, her alien grace and strength on full display. Jake watched, his awe growing. He had always admired strength in others, but this was beyond human comprehension. And yet, she was here, choosing to protect him. One of the enforcers fired a stun beam that shattered a wall near the balcony. Lyria countered with a pulse of energy that sent the attackers staggering backward. Jake, help me with the door lock, she shouted. He rushed over, fumbling with the controls. His human hands weren't built for alien technology, but under her guidance, he managed to override the security protocols. The door sealed them in, temporarily safe. Good, she said, giving him a brief, approving glance. See? You are capable. Even humans can be useful. Jake's heart leapt. Even in danger, she found ways to teach him, to draw him into her world. He felt pride, fear, and admiration all at once. After a tense standoff, the enforcers finally retreated, unable to breach Lyria's defenses. She deactivated the force field, breathing heavily but calm. Jake rushed to her side. Are you okay? He asked, his voice trembling. I am fine, she said, though her eyes softened. Thanks to you. Me? I didn't do anything, he protested. Do not underestimate your courage, Lyria said, her voice softening further. Even humans can surprise me. The danger passed, but Jake realized that nothing would ever be simple again. Lyria had chosen to stay, but her world, her past, and the forces that sought to control her were never far away. That evening, the city quieted once more. Jake and Lyria stood on the balcony, looking over the skyline. The sun set, painting the sky in colors humans didn't have names for. You could leave, Jake said cautiously. You don't have to stay with me. I don't want you to feel trapped. Lyria turned to him, her eyes serious, her expression earnest. Jake, I am not staying because I am trapped. I am staying because I choose you. This night, this life, with you, feels right. Jake's chest tightened. Even with everything, the danger, your world, the people looking for you? Especially because of that, she said softly. You face danger without fear. You care for me without expectation. You make me want to stay. For the first time, Jake felt truly seen. Not just for who he was, but for the courage, kindness, and vulnerability he had never shared with anyone. The following days were a mix of normalcy and adventure. Lyria helped Jake with repairs at his workshop, and they spent hours talking, laughing, and discovering each other's worlds. He showed her Earth's simple pleasures, coffee, old music, city streets at night, while she taught him alien techniques and shared stories of galaxies far beyond his imagination. But even in moments of calm, danger lingered. Occasionally, surveillance drones from her homeworld would appear, or strange signals would buzz through their devices. Lyria never panicked. She always remained a guide, protector, and companion. One night, after a quiet dinner, Lyria approached Jake in the dim light of the apartment. "Jake," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "I need to tell you something." He looked at her, his heart pounding. "What is it?" "I could stay here, with you," she began, "for as long as I want. But my world will not leave us alone forever. There will come a day when I must return, or fight to remain. I cannot promise forever, but tonight, I am choosing to be with you." Jake reached for her hand, holding it tightly. "That's enough for me," he said. "Tonight, we're together. And whatever comes next, we face it together." Her eyes softened, and she leaned in close. "Together," she whispered. Days turned into weeks, and their bond deepened. The city no longer felt empty to Jake. Lyria brought warmth, laughter, and excitement into his life. And though the threats from her world were never fully gone, they became part of their adventure rather than something to fear. One evening, while gazing at the stars, Lyria turned to him. "Jake, humans are fragile, yet remarkable. You have shown me loyalty, kindness, and courage. I believe I could live here, on Earth, with you." Jake smiled, his heart full. "Then live here. Stay with me. Not as a guest, not as a visitor, stay forever, if you want." She hesitated for only a moment before nodding. "Forever," she said, her voice full of certainty. The city lights twinkled below as they embraced. The world outside remained dangerous, full of unknown threats and mysteries. But inside that small apartment, Jake and Lyria had found something rare: choice, trust, and the kind of love that bridged galaxies. For the first time in his life, Jake felt truly alive. And for the first time, Lyria felt at home. Together, they would face whatever came next, side by side, human and alien, in a bond that neither time nor space could easily break.